This is Disney Entertainment News Today. I'm Rob Whiteside, and here now are the top Disney Entertainment stories for Tuesday, April 11th, 2023. We kick off this week with a lot of news and updates released last weekend at Star Wars Celebration Europe, including the announcement of 3 new Star Wars films. James Mangold will direct a pre-Old Republic film about the origins of the Force. Dave Filoni will direct a film taking place between The Mandalorian and The Force Awakens. And Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy will direct a sequel which will take place 15 years after the rise of Skywalker. This was announced as a new film, but Obaid-Chinoy was already slated to work on a Star Wars film, so it's unclear if these are 2 different projects. Daisy Ridley is set to reprise her role as Rey from the sequel trilogy as she leads a new Jedi Order. Coinciding with the 40th anniversary of its original release, a limited-time return for the original Star Wars trilogy finale, Return of the Jedi, has been announced at Star Wars Celebration Europe. The limited-time run in theaters begins on April 28th. Return of the Jedi begins 1 year after Han Solo was captured and frozen in carbonite at the behest of Darth Vader. The first portion takes place on Tatooine and primarily concerns Han's rescue and the defeat of Jabba the Hutt with the assistance of Luke Skywalker, Princess Leia, and friends. After the group's escape, they discover plans and a construction for a new, ultimate Death Star weapon under the direct supervision of the Emperor. And while attempting to destroy an energy shield protecting this updated Death Star on the nearby forest moon of Andor, the main protagonists encounter and eventually befriend a tribe of Ewoks. Han, Leia, the Ewoks, and the rest of the Rebel Alliance focus their attention on the destruction of the weapon and the Empire at large, while Luke Skywalker must confront the Emperor, duel his father, and reckon with the inner struggle between his righteous Jedi trainings and temptations from the dark side of the Force. Darth Vader is also faced with a critical choice: lead his own son down a fruitless path of evil that may seal both of their fates, or defy the Emperor in one final act of redemption and balance. This sci-fi space adventure capped off the original Star Wars trilogy, one that transformed cinema and has endured for decades as one of the highest-grossing phenomenon in human history. Heck yeah, it is. Its return to the big screen will likely attract crowds of longtime fans and introduce some newcomers for the very first time. What is your favorite Star Wars film? Let us know in the comments below. And I would not suggest you start with this film if we're looking for newcomers, just putting that out there. The first trailer for Ahsoka was just released as part of Star Wars Celebration as well. The spin-off series will debut in August of 2023 on Disney+. The trailer gives a good look at Mary Elizabeth Winstead's Hera and Natasha Leo Bordizzo's Sabine, both characters who originally appeared in the animated Star Wars Rebels. You can watch that full trailer right now on our website. Ahsoka stars Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka Tano. Ashley Eckstein originated the voice of the role in the animated Star Wars The Clone Wars in 2008. Eckstein also voiced Ahsoka in Star Wars Rebels and most recently in Tales of the Jedi. Dawson took over the live-action version of the character in The Mandalorian Season 2, and she reprised the role in The Book of Boba Fett. Ahsoka will act as a spin-off from The Mandalorian, but also follows up on the cliffhanger of Star Wars Rebels. Ahsoka will pick up on her and Sabine's search for Ezra. Hera was the captain of the Star Wars Rebels team. Her droid Chopper will also appear in Ahsoka, and possibly her young son Jason, who also appeared briefly in the final moments of Star Wars Rebels. Hayden Christensen is also set to reprise his role as Darth Vader in Ahsoka. When he was originally part of the Jedi Order and still going by Anakin Skywalker, Vader trained Ahsoka. They last encountered each other in Star Wars Rebels. Another main character from Star Wars Rebels recently made his live-action debut in The Mandalorian. It hasn't been confirmed if he will appear in Ahsoka 2. The first Acolyte footage was shown at Star Wars Celebration last weekend, with showrunner Leslie Headland and the cast appearing on stage. The footage has not been made available online, but we know approximately what was shown. It began with a voiceover saying, "Close your eyes can deceive you." The Acolyte stars Amanda Stenberg, and the clips include her fighting Carrie-Anne Moss's character. Squid Game star Lee Jung-jae portrays a Jedi Master. In the footage, he said, quote, "The Force is powerful. It is a power we must respect." He was seen leading a group of Jedi. Jodie Turner-Smith's character said, quote, "This isn't good or bad. This is about power and who is allowed to use it." A golden lightsaber also appeared. A release date was not announced, but The Acolyte is set to wrap up filming this month and air on Disney Plus next year. Stenberg, Jung Jae, Smith, and Moss appeared during the Lucasfilm panel, along with Daphne Keane and Junice Suotomo, who played Chewbacca in the most recent Star Wars films and will play a new Wookiee Jedi Master in The Acolyte. Quote, "I play the Jedi Master," Jung Jae told the crowd. "It was the first time of me touching a lightsaber, and I'm still shaking from the experience. I'm also a fanatic for Star Wars, and my heart is jumping because I'm with the Star Wars family, being with you all today." The Acolyte cast also includes Manny Jacinto from The Good Place, Rebecca Henderson from Inventing Anna, Charlie Barnett from Russian Doll, and Dean Charles Chapman from 1917. Showrunner Leslie Headland said she drew inspiration from martial arts films when planning the show, something that George Lucas did when he was creating the original Star Wars films. The Acolyte is set approximately 100 years before Star Wars Episode I: The Phantom Menace, during the High Republic era. A former Padawan, Stenberg, the titular Acolyte, will reunite with her Jedi Master, Jung Jae, to investigate a series of crimes. Quote, "I really wanted to delve into the Star Wars universe and tell the story of this entire world that I loved so much from the perspective of the bad guys," Headland said. "What I pitched to Kathleen was Frozen meets Kill Bill. Shockingly, she didn't kick me out of the building. This is when the bad guys are outnumbered. They are all underdogs. I'm really excited for you guys to see the things that you haven't seen yet in live action." The Acolyte will reportedly draw from the non-canon Legends expanded universe as well. The first footage from Andor Season 2 was shown exclusively to the Star Wars Celebration audience last weekend as well, but creator Tony Gilroy announced that it was expected to premiere on Disney Plus in August of 2024. Quote, "We started shooting in November. We're about halfway," Gilroy said. "We're going to shoot through August. We're on an exact schedule. Finish in August, spend another year on post. I suppose we'll come out the following August. If you know your ending, it really helps," Gilroy said. "We know exactly where we're going. You know what you have to deliver emotionally and what the story has to do. It's a decision born of survival, but it's good for us creatively." The Andor Season 2 footage featured returning characters Cassian Andor, Mon Mothma, Cyril Karn, Deidre Mero, and Bix. Dialogue in the clips included, quote, "I had a feeling you were coming back soon," and, quote, "If we do not stand together, we will be crushed." While Andor Season 1 took place approximately over 1 year, this 12-episode second season will cover the next 4 years leading up to Rogue One. This will be accomplished with 3-episode sections that will cover a successive series of days before jumping ahead in time. In Rogue One, Cassian partners with K2SO, an Imperial droid he reprogrammed. Though he didn't appear in Andor Season 1, K2SO is expected to appear in Season 2, with Alan Tudyk returning to voice the droid. Lucasfilm released the full trailer and a new poster for Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, the 5th and final film in the series. The poster features Harrison Ford as Indy in the center, Mads Mikkelsen as former Nazi Jürgen Voller at the top, and Phoebe Waller-Bridge as Indy's goddaughter Helena Shaw near the bottom, plus a plethora of other characters. Waller-Bridge, Mikkelsen, and director co-writer James Mangold all appeared at Star Wars Celebration in London to present the new trailer during the Lucasfilm panel. Also among the cast is John Rhys-Davies, returning as Indy's friend Sala, last seen in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. New to the franchise are Antonio Banderas as Ronaldo and Toby Jones as Basil. The film is produced by Kathleen Kennedy, Frank Marshall, and Simon Emanuel, with Steven Spielberg and George Lucas executive producing. John Williams returned to compose the score, having scored every other Indiana Jones flick. You can watch the new trailer on our website, wdwnt.com. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny will premiere at the Cannes Film Festival on May 18th before opening in theaters on June 30th. The MPAA rates this movie at PG-13. According to their classification, the rating is due to sequences of violence and action, language, and smoking. While the rating itself doesn't add much to what can be expected from the 5th and final film, it is an interesting reminder that the second film of the franchise, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, was a main catalyst alongside of Gremlins that led the MPAA to create the PG-13 classification in the first place. The teaser trailer and artwork for the film debuted in September. A second teaser for Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny premiered during the Super Bowl. Harrison Ford, now 80 years old, stated this will be the last Indiana Jones movie. Before the film's full title was announced, Empire shared behind-the-scenes photos and interviews with the cast last November. Quote, "It's full of adventure, full of laughs, full of real emotion, and it's complex and it's sneaky," Ford said at the time. "The shooting of it was tough and long and arduous, but I'm very happy with the film that we have." It's rumored that an Indiana Jones TV series could be in development for Disney+, and it remains unclear if the storyline of this series would be a prequel to the films, set somewhere inside the franchise narrative, or following a totally new character rather than Henry Jones Jr. If this series is developed, it would not be the first TV show about Indiana Jones. Back in 1992, the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles aired on ABC, and Harrison Ford made a cameo appearance in one of those episodes. For a full rundown of all the announcements that came out of Star Wars Celebration, head on over to our website right now. Alan Menken, who wrote the score for the original 1989 The Little Mermaid, told Vanity Fair that he had made some lyrical updates for the live-action remake. Quote, "There are some lyric changes in Kiss the Girl," Menken said, "because people have gotten very sensitive about the idea that Prince Eric would, in any way, force himself on Ariel. We have some revisions in Poor Unfortunate Souls regarding lines that might make young girls somehow feel they shouldn't speak out of turn, even though Ursula is clearly manipulating Ariel to give up her voice." Menken didn't go into detail about the exact changes to the songs. In the Little Mermaid stage show live on the Disney Wish, one simple change has Eric ask Ariel if he can kiss her, and she nods yes. Of course, the kiss doesn't get to happen as Flotsam and Jetsam knock the couple's rowboat over. The Disney Cruise Line stage show also altered some dialogue between Ariel and King Triton to make Ariel more focused on her love of the human world rather than her crush on Eric. Triton asks Ariel at the end of the show if she loves Eric. She says she's unsure, but she knows she likes him and the human world, so Triton agrees to give her legs. The wedding between Ariel and Eric is also cut. Menken worked with the late lyricist Howard Ashman on The Little Mermaid, but this time around he's working with Lin-Manuel Miranda. The two created 3 new songs for The Little Mermaid, including Eric's ballad, Wild Uncharted Waters, as well as Ariel's For the First Time, and Scuttle and Sebastian's Scuttlebutt. Quote, "We had a great time," Menken told the Vanity Fair about working with Miranda. "He's really smart, he understands theater really well, he understands a lot of things really well. He's got this, as you know, stylistic brilliance that brings in hip-hop and rap and all old musical forms that help. Even though it's a composer, me, and the lyricist, Lynn, when we're in the room, all those influences came to band. Ariel sings for the first time when she gets her legs. She doesn't have her voice, but sings her thoughts about all the first things she's going to do now that she has legs. Scuttlebutt is a harebrained song," Menken said, about Scuttle and Sebastian trying to figure out what's going on because they hear rumors that the prince has decided to marry. They think it must be Ariel, but of course it's Ursula in the form of Vanessa. "It's all delicious imagination," Menken continued. "Lynn's lyrics are to die for. We wrote a 4th song called Impossible Child for King Triton. It didn't remain in the film only because we didn't really need it. It was so great to work with Javier Bardem on that song, and people will hear it as a DVD outtake, I guess." We recently got a closer look at The Little Mermaid thanks to new photos and interviews from Entertainment Weekly. The film will hit theaters on May 26. Disney is producing a live-action remake of its 2002 film Lilo and Stitch, and they've identified the actor they want to take on the lead role of Lilo, newcomer Maya Kealoha. The live-action remake of Lilo and Stitch is being produced for Disney Plus exclusively and will be directed by Dean Fleischer Camp, who received an Oscar nomination for Marcel the Shell with Shoes On. The upcoming remake has no release date, but has been based on the 2002 Walt Disney Animation Studios film of the same name, starring David Chase and Chris Sanders, which follows a young Hawaiian girl who adopts a, quote, dog from the local pound, completely unaware that it's a dangerous scientific experiment taking refuge on Earth, hiding from its creator and those who see it as a menace and a criminal. Last month, it was reported that Zach Galifianakis had been cast in this film. And last year, Disney opened its casting call for this film, encouraging submissions from actors of native Hawaiian, Polynesian, Maori descent. Maya Kealoha will make her film debut as Lilo, the titular character in Lilo and Stitch. As a young Hawaiian actress, Kealoha won the role after Disney had an open casting call. While this will be Akiloa's first debut, she does have experience as the 2023 Mini Miss Kona Coffee winner. Little Miss Kona Coffee is Kona's premier youth competition featuring the youngest of the Hawaii Islands young ladies, 4 to 17. With no prior acting experience, it will be exciting to see what this young actress can bring to the role. Disney released Lilo and Stitch, their 42nd animated feature film, back in 2002. It was written and directed by Dean DeBlois and Chris Sanders, who is also the voice of Stitch. It was the second of 3 Disney animated features, the others being Mulan and Brother Bear, to be produced primarily in the animation studios located at Disney's Hollywood Studios, then known as Disney MGM Studios. Lilo and Stitch was nominated for the 2002 Academy Award for Best Animated Feature, and the upcoming Lilo and Stitch live-action remake currently has no projected release date, but it's set to debut on Disney+. And finally, in an entertainment meets parks crossover story, an opening date has been announced for Rogers the Musical at Disney California Adventure. A short one-act version of the musical is coming to the Hyperion Theater at Disney California Adventure Park for a limited time engagement beginning on June 30th, 2023. In the first episode of the Disney Plus series Hawkeye, Jeremy Renner's Clint Barton and his family watched a Broadway musical theater sequence featuring the life of Steve Rogers. Singers and dancers tell the story of Steve Rogers, Captain America, joined by Peggy Carter, Nick Fury, and select members of the Avengers. The musical will take the audience on a journey from Steve's humble beginnings during World War II to becoming Captain America, leading the Avengers and beyond. It's a classic tale of heroes, time travel, and romance. Oh, and Nick Fury sings. The show will feature familiar music including Save the City from the Disney Plus Hawkeye series, Star Spangled Man from the film Captain America: The First Avenger, plus 5 new original songs written for Rogers the Musical at Disneyland Resort. Rogers the Musical will run approximately 30 minutes from Tuesday through Saturday most weeks. Additional details, including show dates and times, plus news about the merchandise and food and beverage offerings themed to Rogers the Musical, will be shared as opening day gets closer. For the absolute latest in Disney entertainment news, head on over to WDWNT.com and follow us on all of your favorite social media platforms. If you're enjoying this show, and we hope you are, please be sure to like this video, subscribe to WDWNT TV on YouTube for more great content, and click that bell for notifications. Also hit select all notifications so you never miss an episode of the show. And if you enjoy Disney movies and TV shows, don't forget to join us for our weekly review show, Deep in the Plus. We do that show live every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, and you can find previous episodes available right now on demand on WDWNT.tv. For the worldwide leader in Disney parks news and entertainment, this is Rob Whiteside saying, don't have a good day, have a great day, and we'll see you next time.